Well, hello, nerds. My name's Bob, and let me welcome you to the inaugural episode of Let's Get Physical
Media.
Yes, that's exactly right. We're talking about Blu-rays and 4Ks every day. That's what we're doing. Since we have officially decided to retire the How to Save a Life segment on the normal Straight Chilling show, I kind of wanted to keep the conversation going a little bit because talking about physical media is something that I enjoy, and I enjoy it even more when I'm talking to a fellow collector and friend about it. So we kind of decided to start this little spin-off show in which we're going to do just that. We're talking about physical media, and my co-host, allow me to introduce him, Mikey. What's up, Mikey?
What's up, my man?
It's good to have you, sir.
I'm very privileged.
You're, I don't know if you're that privileged. I'm not that cool, so you can't be that privileged. So if you listen to the show somewhat regularly, you might recall Mikey's been on a few shows talking about some horror movies. Probably the most infamous one was when you forced us to watch a Serbian film.
I think so. I wouldn't mind revisiting that, actually.
The movie?
Yeah.
Because you're a glutton for punishment? What is wrong with you?
I don't know, man. You're the one that invited me.
You're right. I've brought this upon myself. So Mikey's definitely been a longtime friend of the show, of the regular Straight Chillin' show. And much like myself, you're a collector, right? You're all up into this physical media shit?
Very much, for almost my entire life.
All right. I figured like it might be kind of cool since this show is kind of its own brand in a way. Maybe we should just kind of like talk briefly about like how we got into collecting this stuff, and then we'll get into the main event, and we'll talk about our top 10 picks for physical media of 2019. But I kind of want to let you tell your story, man. You've got some interesting history. Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, for sure. My parents, they used to own a video game / VHS movie rental store down in Mayport here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Represent.
Yep. So I used to be around shelves of movies and video games my entire life. Ever since then, I've always wanted to have a collection in my room. I used to admire that. That grew into DVDs, obviously. And then when one of the most inspirational people of the whole collection is one of my neighbors. His older brother used to collect DVDs. He had a rack, actually the exact rack I gave you a few months ago. Yep, he was the reason why I bought that rack.
Nice.
He used to buy DVDs. He used to do them alphabetical order like how I do it. And, he was the reason why I've seen Return of the Living Dead for the first time and a ton of other movies when they were all in DVD, and they were super hard to find, and they were very expensive for DVD.
That's awesome, man. You had like somebody kind of guiding you. Check out this weird shit.
Yeah. He guided me into DVD and physical media, and also me and his younger brother who I went to school with, we used to search under his bed for Playboys.
Yeah, successful.
So yeah, oh yeah.
Were the pages sticky?
They probably were. I didn't know better. We're in 5th grade, man.
Nice, getting into all kinds of weird shit. Well, that's awesome. I guess I've always just kind of had some sort of like collector's bone in my body. So like ever since I was a kid, I was collecting whatever, whether it be like, Pokemon cards or like Legos or...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I went through phases for sure. But I've always been a huge fan of movies and had, a somewhat meager collection. And then I recently, as over the last 5 years or so, since we've really been doing the show, and like Arrow Video and Scream Factory and Shout Factory and Vinegar Syndrome, Blue Underground, all those guys like putting out all these like very specific high-end horror-related movies. That's like very much my jam. So that like really energized me to grow my film collection and see some of these weird things I'd never seen before. That's kind of how I got into it. I wasn't necessarily like indoctrinated like you were.
We're molded from the same
I think so.
Piece of clay, man.
I think so. And these boutique Blu-ray companies are definitely benefiting from our broken brains.
That's true, but I'll tell you what, these boutiques and what they are releasing, you're definitely getting what you're paying for. They are kind of expensive for the most part, but you guys don't get it twisted. We are smart shoppers at the same time, so there's always sales and there's always things coming out. So just don't think we're completely brainless.
Right. Yeah. It definitely costs a lot of money to do these new scans from like original negatives, and a lot of these movies that are coming out this is the best they've ever looked. Like they've never looked any better. They probably won't ever look any better. And also, just like speaking of other things we'll be talking about on this show regularly, like if there are some like sales coming up or like things are about to go out of print or whatever, we'll bring all that to your attention as best we can. But anyway, that kind of gives you a little bit of a background on us and our interest in this realm. You want to go ahead and get into the main event, I guess? We'll talk about our top 10 of 2019.
Top 10 of 2019, yeah.
All right. You know what time it is.
Let's get physical.
We're getting fucking physical. It's happening.
Oh, yes.
So we got 10 picks. We're going to start from 10 and work up to our number 1.
I think you should start.
Do you want me to say? Okay.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that. So my number 10 pick is going to be The Babadook, which you might be a little bit confused when I say that. But let me explain. It's the special edition LGBTQ version of The Babadook that was put out by Scream Factory earlier this year. It's got a limited edition slipcover. It's like the rainbow slipcover, and a portion of the sales for all of that was donated. I forget the charity, but they donated a large portion of the money from those sales. And the movie, just in general, is fantastic, and I didn't own any other edition of it. This doesn't have any different special features or anything like that if you already own it, but it was a movie that I definitely enjoyed. Jennifer Kent's first movie, the Australian director, and it's just like a very harrowing and like effective study on like loss. Basically, it's a great movie if you haven't seen it. And I got the rainbow edition.
The rainbow slipcover.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool. I had mad respect for Scream Factory.
Yeah, that was a really cool release. I remember I was debating on buying it, but I've already acquired the original Scream Factory edition with the red fold out slipcover.
Yeah, where it looks like a book.
But the Babadook is actually popping out. I
really
had
cool.
to have that, yeah. But that one is really cool. If I didn't have the one I already own, I definitely would have trigger pulled on that nice LGBTQ slipcover.
Well, Michael, what's your number 10?
My number 10 also comes from Scream Factory, and I'll tell you guys right now, I'm a sucker for Scream Factory. They probably have most of my money out of all these companies. I'm starting out with Night of the Creeps.
Ah, good pick.
I just recently watched this for the first time. I remember when the Straight Chilling episode came out, I had to cut it off, of course, before you guys talked about the movie, because I didn't want to spoil it for myself. I absolutely fucking love this movie. Tom Atkins, I'm convinced that motherfucker's been old his entire life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he was a badass.
Yeah, he's pretty cool for an old motherfucker, and it's definitely Miller time.
It's Miller time. He gave a college student a goddamn flamethrower. That was awesome. No, this movie really impressed me. Scream Factory, I'm sure with a recent release with like the Babadook, it also looks beautiful, but like we mentioned before, their scans are beautiful for these older movies. They look great if you have a newer high definition TV. I highly recommend anything they come out, and chase those slipcovers, y'all. If you guys are collecting, chase the slipcovers. They're beautiful. They're always worth something. It's basically like gold. They only go up in value.
Yeah, that is true. If you're collecting these, you can. It costs you no more money to buy it with a slipcover until it goes out of print, and then you can sell that slipcover alone for the price that you bought the whole movie for. If that's something you're trying to do, make your money back. It's an easy way to do that.
Oh, so, yeah.
Number 9. Moving on to number 9. My number 9 is going to be a strange little movie that I had never seen before this year called Nightmare Beach.
Oh, man. I really enjoyed Nightmare Beach.
Yeah, so this thing was put out by Kino Lorber, and it was actually on Amazon Prime for a while. It might still be there.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're curious, you want to like try it before you buy, check out Amazon Prime. I think it's on there. But this was like an Italian production directed by Umberto Lenzi, but it was set in Florida, and it was actually filmed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Yeah, go Gators. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a Seminole fan. Fuck those Gators. But that was a funny scene.
Gator Bay. I don't give much of a shit about college football, but there are a lot of Gator fans in this movie, and they are just hilariously obnoxious, which is pretty true to life, actually.
Especially just in Florida in general.
Yeah. But it's a strange little movie about this guy who's part of a biker gang. He gets executed via the electric chair, and his like ghost comes back to seek revenge. And he just starts murdering people. He's like, wearing his motorcycle helmet and leather gloves and all that stuff, and he's murdering people by way of an electric chair that he's attached to the back of his motorcycle. It's schlocky, and it's funny as hell.
It's a great watch.
Yeah, I recommend it.
My number 9 comes from our friends from Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, these folks can put out some quality slipcovers, as we mentioned before.
Yes.
And this one in particular has a great case. Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Nice.
I love Roddy Piper. May he rest in peace. He's done some other films before, like They Live. That was a Scream Factory release. Highly recommend. But of course, we're talking about 2019 releases. This was a great movie. This felt like I don't know what you thought about it, but I felt like this was kind of like a spoof of like Mad Max.
I have never seen that full movie. I've just seen bits and pieces of it.
Well, it's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. He's like the only guy that can procreate or something.
Yeah, he's one of the few men that can procreate. Okay. So the government now are women who are trying to find men that can procreate, and essentially they follow his trail of women that he's fucked and got pregnant. So they're like, oh, we need to get this guy, and he's just a complete piece of garbage, just wandering post-apocalyptic world. And to get back to their home, they have to go through Frogtown, where everyone is legit a human frog person, and they have to fight their way out of town. It's nuts. It's a good watch. I would definitely watch this with friends, maybe with beer and pizza. It's fun.
Following the old semen trail to Roddy Piper. Yeah, man, that slipcover is not like any other slipcover I've ever seen. It's like real thick cardboard, and it like splits in the center, like not. It doesn't. It's got this weird V.
Yeah, look at this thing, and then it's like a casing inside of a case. It's really nice.
It's probably a better slipcover than that movie deserves.
I will guarantee Vinegar Syndrome, they put out some really nice slipcovers and cases. Even if the movie isn't all that great, which a lot of these companies will have some hit or misses, you'll definitely won't be disappointed with their actual presentation.
Yeah, it's always really clean.
Yep, you eat with your eyes first, you guys, so always remember that.
Moving on to number 8. My number 8 pick is a Scream Factory joint yet again. I'm going with Humanoids from the Deep here.
Oh, man, that's a great movie.
So this movie was definitely also on Amazon Prime. Might still be there, not sure. It's a Larry Cohen produced movie. So he's like the king of schlock. His movies are very cheap B movies. There's tons of gore. This movie in particular is really pretty funny. It's about these creatures that come from the deep, and they descend on this small beachside town and try to procreate with human females to further their species. And it's just very gory, and there's tons of creature effects and lots of monster action. It's something I'd never seen before this year either. It's kind of a new discovery for me, and it's just something I I really enjoyed. Super schlocky, very Larry Cohen. I recommend you check it out if you like his stuff.
Oh yeah, you recommended that one to me, and you didn't disappoint on that recommendation. That was a good one.
Yeah, it's Scream Factory's version is like a really nice steelbook too. So if you're into the steelbooks, that's a good one to pick up.
Yeah, very nice art. It's definitely worth the price too. It's not too expensive compared to their normal releases. Well, my number 8 comes from Arrow.
Oh shit!
Our first Arrow release here on the countdown. The Ringu set.
Nice. Triple feature.
This recently came out, what, October?
Yeah, I think it was October.
Yeah, so you get the original Japanese versions of The Ring, Ringu 1, Ringu 2, and of course the prequel, if I'm correct, of Ringo 0. It comes as big, nice, hard case to fit all 3 cases. Comes with a big, thick booklet, just full of facts of the movies.
Thick.
It's so thick, and it's so fucking warm. It's a great piece. The movies, I've watched the first 2. The first one was amazing. They're all subtitled, of course, because they're straight from Japan until the Americans came and knocked it off and made a ton of money off of it.
Yeah. Damn Americans.
But I definitely recommend the first one so far. For a movie with a lot of nothing really happening, just a lot of explanation of the story that I'm sure most of you guys are aware of. It really keeps you into it. So I really recommend that one. I watched the second one. It's not that great in my opinion. I'm counting down to the days I can finally take the time to watch the prequel though. But it's a beautiful collection. I've heard from a little birdie that it's supposed to be going out of print already. It's only been out for a good 2-3 months. So if you can get your hands on a good price, I recommend it.
Nice. I would second that. I've only seen the first Ringu. It's pretty dope though. I look forward to seeing the other 2. And Arrow, they do good work.
Oh yeah, they always put out a good presentation is always superb with them.
Presentation on point. So I'm going to go in with my number 7 here. This is one that, Mikey, you've actually already mentioned. We got a little bit of overlap. I'm going to come up with old Scream Factory's Night of the Creeps.
It's hard to go wrong, man.
I know. This is when we covered this on Straight Chilling. It was the first time I had ever seen it. And it was chosen by a Patreon supporter, Chad, a local guy. And it was just like, it blew my mind that I'd never seen it before. I was like, how have I not seen a movie that is this amazing? I
was actually upset with you that no one has, especially you haven't recommended it sooner for me, because I loved it. It was really good.
Yeah, it's got creatures. It's got like kind of a slasher vibe going. Plenty of like teenage hijinks.
The one-liners.
One-liners out the ass. Tom Atkins kicking ass. Kissing ass, kicking ass, doing whatever he wants to with the ass because he's Tom fucking Atkins. The 4K transfer on this is super clean, and it's got a couple feature length commentaries and like a ton of interviews. I watched most of the interviews, not all of them. There's a lot of them, including one with Tom Atkins.
He's still kicking.
Yeah, he is. He's going strong. Night of the Creeps, number 7.
Number 7. For my number 7 pick, I'm actually going back to the Scream Factory well myself.
All right.
This probably was the first Scream Factory release I bought of the year. Valentine.
Solid pick.
I don't remember. I probably watched this a long time ago in the 90s when it came out. A lot with these companies, they come out with a lot of, 80s, 70s movies for the most part. So actually revisiting a 90s slasher movie, it was kind of a breath of fresh air.
Especially because it didn't suck, right?
It didn't. Yeah. It was actually a lot of fun. I mean, Katherine Heigl's in it. Denise Richards, by the way, has a great hot tub scene. I don't want to spoil it, but that fucking sold it for me. That was like, man, this was actually really good. So the whole grungy 90s feel, I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually looking forward to more 90s horror in the future. I'm definitely going to explore that realm a bit more. But man, this was a lot of fun.
It is, yeah. And there's not a ton of like Valentine's Day related slasher movies. There's like that in My Bloody Valentine.
The remake in the OG.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
that's like, I don't really know much more that's going on there, but both those movies are pretty solid. And it's the 90s gets a pretty bad rap, but I think if you do a little bit of digging, you can find some solid picks in there. And of course, Scream Factory always does their homework and puts out baller releases.
Oh yeah.
Good one. So we're going on to my number 6. This is my first pick from Arrow Video. And it's going to be the Crimson
God.
Peak.
I hate this fucking movie.
Yeah, well, as far as the movie itself, I enjoy it, but it's on the lower tier of Del Toro flicks for me. But it's still like, I don't know that Del Toro's made a bad movie. Mimic is questionable, but also that was like heavily meddled in, by the studio. But I don't know, if you are into this movie, this is definitely like going to be the definitive release for it. Even if you aren't a huge fan of it, it's beautiful. The movie looks beautiful, and the transfer on this is incredibly clean. It's got a feature-length documentary about the making of it, and Del Toro talks about it at length because when you're watching a Del Toro picture, like there's no stone left unturned. He has considered every single part of that movie, and just hearing him talk about it, even if you're not a fan, is cool as shit. So I enjoyed that. It's also like the case itself is fashioned to look like a fancy book, which is kind of neat. And then when you open it up, it's got an actual hardbound book inside of it with a bunch of pictures and like scholarly writings on the movie and stuff. It's got some like lobby cards and a poster, and it's just like about as fancy of a release as you're gonna find. So good work, Arrow. That's gonna be my number 6 pick.
I can't lie. Like I said, I'm not a fan of that movie whatsoever, but that edition and how pretty it really is, I'd be dumb enough to buy it, just for the presentation, just put it on the shelf. I'd probably never watch it again unless I lost a bet to you or something. But it definitely is a very beautiful edition.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 6.
What you got?
Piggybacking off of you, Nightmare Beach.
No shit,
dude!
I can't believe you picked it. That's awesome.
This was actually my last minute swap.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's a brain dead slasher. I mean, as Bob mentioned, that the killer is a biker. He's in a leather suit and helmet. You get on the bike, you get electrocuted, and every time he comes around, there's super heavy metal music playing. They're just at the beach in Fort Lauderdale, right? Like you said. And it's everyone in the movie is just drinking on spring break and just being a piece of trash. It's kind of hard not to like this movie. It's a brain dead film. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It just broke my top 5. Yeah.
Nice. That is surprising, man. I did not anticipate that. That was one that I was like, I don't know, should I put it on there? Because I love the movie, but like the packaging there's nothing like super special about the packaging, but I was like, the movie is like one of those that I think you kind of got to watch. That's awesome.
I definitely wanted to put something from Kino Lorber in there because some of the other movies they didn't make the cut or they weren't released in 2019. But I definitely want to give that studio a shout out because they do some nice things.
They do.
I want to give them an honorable mention right now from them. They did the Hannibal Lecter or just Hannibal 4K.
Nice.
They did that, and it was a great visual. That their transfer was beautiful. They did a good job. So shout out to Kino.
I actually have an honorable mention from Kino that I can mention right now, and I'm going to.
You might as well. It's the perfect time.
Came out this year too. Thirst, which Japanese vampire movie. It's awesome.
That sounds nuts.
First time on Blu-ray, put out by Kino Lorber this year. I highly recommend it. If you want some like strange, off the beaten path kind of vampire tale, like if you like Let Me In or Let the Right One In, I feel you'll dig this. Thirst. Yeah.
Very cool. We're on the top 5.
Top 5. Yeah.
We're turning along, man.
Top half. Here we go. Here's another one that I know you're not a big fan of, Mikey, but
Jesus.
Dude, I love this shit. So my number 5 is it's gonna be The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh God.
Which is a Netflix original.
What's Netflix? What's that?
What? Yeah, no, streaming. Down with streaming.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck streaming is.
Let's get physical.
Fuck streaming, man. We're getting fucking physical. So yeah, Netflix put this out. This is directed by Mike Flanagan. All the episodes are directed by Mike Flanagan. This is his baby. I know not everybody loves some Flanagan. I'm definitely on the Flanagan train. This show is fantastic. It's just incredibly well written, acted, directed. The story as a whole I found to be like very compelling and definitely worth a rewatch, because in several scenes of the show there are going to be hidden ghosts in the background all throughout it, like tons of them. So it's just fun to try and pick those out. You might wonder why in the world you would want to purchase this on Blu-ray if it's on Netflix, because everybody has Netflix, right?
I still don't know what that is.
What is Netflix?
Let's get physical.
So the reason that I would recommend you purchase this is because 3 episodes of this show actually have commentary by Mike Flanagan, and one of the episodes that he does have a commentary on is the Two Storms episode, which I think is episode 3, or no, I think it's episode 6. It's like right in the middle. And he explains how that episode was comprised, and it looks like when you watch it, it looks like one long take, but he explains it was actually like 4 takes of like 15 to 17 minutes apiece, and it's all like in like 2 different buildings, but like they had to build these buildings out and connect them. And he explains how they had to like choreograph the lighting and the movements of the actors, and how they had to practice for like 3 straight months before they ever tried to film any of it. And just like how each actor, when they like hit their marks, they had to pre-program lights to turn on and off at a certain point to make sure their faces were lit correctly. And just everything that he explains is just insane. And listening to him talk about these 3 episodes is definitely worth picking this up. And the show is fantastic and worth a rewatch. If you've seen it, I think, and you liked it, rewatch it. It's worth it. Haunting of Hill House is the shit.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that one. I'm not a fan of the show. But one thing I do want to mention, I don't care if you pay $500 a month for your internet to get the fastest speed there is. I guarantee putting in the Blu-ray will look so much cleaner than it does streaming. Or whatever that is. I don't know what that is.
Hashtag facts.
Let's get physical.
What you got for your number 5, Mikey?
Piggybacking off of you from one of your early picks. Humanoids from the Deep.
No shit.
I really like this one a lot, man. This one was freaking awesome. I mean, like you said, it's people dressed up in monster outfits.
Nice.
They're just throwing around body parts all over the beach. It's crazy, man. This was a fun watch. I definitely recommend watching this one too again, with like friends hanging out. This was definitely an experience. Breath of fresh air to me. And like we said too, this steelbook it's really nice, good colors. I prefer my slipcovers over steelbooks, but I definitely recommend this one, and it makes things easier too that this is the only way to get it. So get your eyes on it, you guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we have not conversed about our lists whatsoever, so the overlap is genuine. We really do like seriously dig this shit.
Yes, we made this a specific point to not share our list with each other.
Yeah. My number 4 is going to be my first Vinegar Syndrome pick of the night.
And I'm very surprised because Bob has probably paid over half of Vinegar Syndrome's employees' salaries over the year with how much you all heard him buy from them.
Oh, that's not true. So I'm going in with Tammy and the T-Rex here on this one. So this is like a 1993 teen comedy starring Denise Richards and Paul Walker. And the previous versions of this that have been released, this is the first time on Blu-ray. I don't know if it was on DVD, but the whatever came out prior to this didn't have any gore in it. It was just a straight teen comedy. Vinegar Syndrome went back and put all of the gore into the movie, which had never been seen before. And it is hilarious. It's absolutely fantastic. Like, had me laughing out loud throughout the entire movie. the short plot synopsis: Paul Walker is a high school kid in love with Denise Richards, and he ends up dying. And this like crazy scientist guy builds this huge mechanical T-Rex and transfers Paul Walker's consciousness into it. And as he's trying to chase after Denise Richards and communicate that it's him and he still loves her, he's just like ripping people apart, and it's just bloody and gory and hilarious. It's just something that I really recommend you check out. Definitely watch it with friends. You'll get a kick out of it for sure. I'm
very jealous of that edition. I'm kind of sad I didn't get it.
Yeah, it's also the first movie that Vinegar Syndrome's ever put out on 4K, which I didn't get. I just got the Blu-ray. But it's the first one. I guess they felt so confident in it, they put it out on 4K, and it comes with a nice lenticular slipcover if you buy it before they run out of those. Anyway, those are limited edition.
Very limited.
Yeah.
I just realized too, this is the second Denise Richards movie we both had.
Who would have thought?
That pretty white girl is just haunting us.
She's everywhere.
I guess so. Where's she at now?
Yeah.
Working at Publix?
Making those delicious pub subs.
Oh, that's even better. My number 4 comes in from Scorpion.
Nice.
So for Scorpion.
Nice.
I recently checked this one out. This is the special edition of Dario Argento's Opera. This is the big special edition that they released this year. They came out with an original edition, I think, last year, but this specific edition comes with a poster. It's a 3-disc set. It's just beautiful. First time watching it this year. I've been trying to get into some more Giallo recently. Giallo. This one did not disappoint, man.
Right.
The whole thing with the killer and how he puts the tape and the needles underneath her eyes, so she has to watch him just murder just nonstop. This was different compared to any other Giallos I've seen. This is probably one of my favorite Argento movies, I could say, out of probably the 5 I've seen, so I probably can't speak too much of it, but this edition was nice. I'm very happy I acquired it. Definitely recommend.
Yeah, that's a fun one to make. That's also got a bit of a heavy metal soundtrack to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like a latter day Argento Giallo. It's pretty fun.
Just like Nightmare Beach, what we mentioned, every time when the killer comes out, ties the main girl up and puts the needles under her eyes, like the heavy metal music just starts. And it's Italian too, but they play some it sounds like some damn American garage band shit.
Yeah, they definitely, I don't know if all the bands are American, but at least some of them are for sure. Like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head who's on the soundtrack, but it's definitely got some American metal going on in there.
I think this has a soundtrack. I might have to put that in the truck and blast some opera jams.
Fuck yeah. My number 3. Moving on to top 3.
Damn, man, top 3, just like that.
Here we go. Another Scream Factory joint. Talking about the Blob here.
Oh, Jerry Seinfeld.
That dude does look like Seinfeld.
It's Kevin Dillon, right? From Entourage.
Is it? I don't know. I honestly don't know his name off the top of my head.
Yes, this Dillon brother. I'm pretty sure it's Kevin Dillon. He was the older brother in Entourage. He was one of my favorite drama. He played Johnny Drama.
Fucking drama.
Drama, yeah.
This movie was kind of hard to find on Blu-ray before Scream Factory put it out. Twilight Time put an edition of it out, but I think it was limited to like maybe 2,000 copies or something. It wasn't a lot.
Super out of print.
Yeah, it was hard to find, and if you wanted to buy it, you'd have to pay like $60 for it or something crazy like that. So Scream Factory put this out. Again, the transfer is great. It looks fantastic. It's got like 3 or 4 audio commentaries and like a bunch of interviews on it, and it's also got this. It has a commentary with Chuck Russell and Ryan Turek that was previously on that Twilight Time release, and that was the first release it was on, but it's also included in the Scream Factory edition, which is pretty cool. It's just a great monster movie. It's some of the best practical effects from the 80s that I can mention, like the scene where the dude gets like pulled into the sink is just fantastic.
Dude, that Blob does fucking work in that movie.
He does. fucks it up, man. That the kill scene in the phone booth is fantastic. I could go on. It's something that's definitely worth seeing. It's one of the better remakes, in my opinion, anyways. And also, like, I didn't even realize until now, I'm looking at the back of the box, the screenplay was written by Chuck Russell, the director, and Frank Darabont. I didn't know Frank Darabont wrote this, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, Frank Darabont from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was the man for the whole package.
Yeah. Dope art as well. Dope slipcover. Scream Factory's The Blob, my number 3.
Very nice. I like that pick. I like that movie. My number 3 comes from Arrow once again.
Oh, yeah.
Bob's favorite. Bob loves some Arrow.
I do love some
I'm
Arrow.
very surprised you only have, what, one Arrow so far?
So far.
That's, oh, man.
We'll see.
I'm expecting more. Not so much of a horror movie, but nonetheless, it's an Arrow release. And if you're a fan of this movie, I highly recommend this edition. It's fucking gorgeous. Bob, you're about to see the way I opened it. It was very, very careful the way I opened it. RoboCop.
Nice. Solid pick, my friend.
I mean, if this doesn't scream, I'm a serial killer. The way I opened this.
He opened the plastic on just one side so he could slide it out of the plastic like a sleeve.
I was watching it.
You're a killer.
You're next. There's not going to be an episode 2. But man, the stuff that they include on this, the transfer's a lot better than the original Blu-ray collection that was released. It comes with stickers. You thought the damn Ringu booklet was thick. This American-made movie is thicker. This is a thick book full of facts and cool art. They show like blueprints of the actual what's it? The Ed? I forget the number or the main robot that he has to fight in this movie.
Oh, I don't remember the number.
Yeah,
either.
I forget what it is too. But they have like blueprints of that and like RoboCop, and it comes with like postcards and stickers. Arrow went all out for this movie, and you haven't seen this movie until they just released it just the other month, right?
Right. That was a new find for me personally this year. Never seen it before.
You get to see Red Foreman once again, like Tom Atkins. He looked old his whole entire fucking life too. Man, I love this movie ever since I was a kid. I hated the remake, but this was great. Arrow did this movie some real justice. I couldn't believe it. They actually also released a steelbook edition of this movie, which I might be dumb enough to spend more money in owning both copies.
Double
downing. We'll save that for another episode, but it happens a lot more frequent than you think, y'all.
Oh, moving on to number 2. My number 2 might sound very familiar because it's fucking RoboCop.
We were one off.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts, man.
Oh, you went full on dry guy on me. You just ripped it all apart.
I threw all of the plastic away because I'm not going to murder anybody.
Let me ask you this, because you see how it has like this like paper thing in the back. Yeah. Do you save those or you throw those away? Yeah,
so if you're unfamiliar with some of Arrow's releases, like the bigger books that they put out usually have like a cardboard card slipped onto the back with like a small piece of glue that has all the bonus features on it. But when you take the plastic off, it just kind of like dangling there. So you're probably normally going to rip it off and throw it in the trash. What I usually do is I keep them and like fold them and put it inside the actual Blu-ray case. That's what I do.
Yeah. Before we get off topic, I'm kind of probably a serial killer.
Yep.
For all my movies, and you've seen how many movies I have outside of just the horror collection. Whenever they have that, I have all those like paper bullshits just in a box in my movie room. I'll show you the stack later.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that stack.
I have a problem. I can't get rid of anything.
I don't want to know.
I don't know why. I'm weird.
It's all right. But yeah, RoboCop is like a quintessential 80s action flick that I just somehow had never seen before this year. And I fucking enjoyed the hell out of it. I've seen it twice, probably in the past 3 or 4 months. It's just so much fun. And it's like got some decent political commentary too that I think still applies to today. Like the privatization of like a police force is something that would be harrowing and probably just absolutely terrible. Much like the prison system currently is. It's problematic. So it's still, I like how they cut to like news stories frequently throughout the movie and like
The
random
game show.
advertisements. Yeah.
I'll buy that for $1.
I'll buy that for $1. The movie's just great, and the transfer is incredible because that's how Arrow Video rolls. The list of bonus features on this is like you almost need a magnifying glass to read it all. There's a ton of shit. Lobby cards. Oh, it's got everything. Poster, whatever you need, man. It's they really went all out on RoboCop. It's my number 2. It's awesome.
Yeah, man, it was hard it was a hard pick on this one. I knew it was going to be in my top 5 as soon as I opened it and looked at everything. This is really a great addition, and it's one out of 3 movies that made Detroit actually cool. So I'll give it that.
Hey, 8 Mile is on that list, I would imagine.
8 Mile, yeah, but also Predator 2 with Danny Glover.
What about It Follows? Detroit.
Is that Detroit?
Yeah, man.
Well, fuck. I
4.
I don't know. I liked It Follows a lot, so I might have to reevaluate my list.
Think on it.
Yeah. To my number 2, I was very excited about this release. Honestly, this would have been my number 1. For some facts I will give you shortly. It is the original Suspiria 4K.
Nice.
Second Argento.
Giallo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I love this movie. You introduced it to me. Well, you let me borrow it because, of course, the original Synapse version was a very beautiful Blu-ray. It was super limited, correct? Because it went out of print fairly quick.
Yeah.
Until they came out with like a regular edition.
Yeah, it was it was fairly expensive steelbook they put out because they like hand colored every single frame like separately, like the whole movie they recolored it, which is super time consuming and costly,
especially in this movie because every single room, every single scene, it's the colors. It takes effect in this entire movie.
Yeah.
This honestly would have been my number 1 pick. I was very excited about this because of course I missed out on the edition that Bob owns. I watched it. I kind of want to do a frame by frame, honestly, but I feel like this 4K, which I feel like this was a perfect movie to go into 4K.
Yeah.
But I think they did too good of a job on the Blu-ray that they released that you own that I honestly couldn't tell much of a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are some cases like that with 4K and Blu-ray. Not every 4K is going to be that much more superior than the Blu-ray release. That just happens. I think that's just due to the way they film things, especially nowadays and present releases. But with this movie, like we said, if you've never seen it before, Argento definitely takes effect with the colors and like every scene in every room. There's different blues and greens and reds, and it's just all over the movie. It was beautiful. I'm glad that I waited and didn't buy a regular edition of this movie because I do enjoy this movie a lot. So thank you, Synapse, for releasing this so I can actually say I have a edition really worth the shit to put in my collection.
Yeah. Nice. Number 1. We're going into the number 1 spot.
Oh,
2019.
boy. Don't upset me.
It's hard to pick, man. There's been a lot of good shit that came out this year, but I think for my money, I'm going to have to go with an Arrow Video title.
Makes sense.
And it's going to be American Werewolf in London.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm going with American Werewolf in London. So this movie, John Landis directed it. It's a quintessential werewolf movie. It's a horror comedy. It's like equal parts funny, equal parts scary. Again, the transfer on this is as clean as you're gonna find anywhere. The release itself is one of their like nice thick cardboard books. It comes with a soft bound book with scholarly writings and of course lobby cards and a nice poster. And the limited edition contents on there are, again, longer than I could possibly read on the show. I did watch some of the bonus features, not all of them, but the ones that I did watch. There's a feature-length documentary on there that's called Mark of the Beast: The Legacy of the Universal Werewolf, and they pretty much track. It's like an hour and 15 minutes long, I think. They pretty much track like the origins of the werewolf story into the first time you see a werewolf figure in America, and then the first time you see it on the big screen, and then of course into the Universal monster movies, the werewolf there, and then into the Hammer horror pictures where the werewolf movies continue up to present day. It's just like a pretty exhaustive documentary, and it's very informational and entertaining as hell at the same time. So it's just got a lot of really good stuff on there, and I think that's my number one for the year.
That's a big surprise because I haven't heard you say anything about that movie.
Yeah.
And that's been out for a good bit. I actually regret not buying that edition. I think actually Arrow sold out of that edition so fast that they have already released their standard edition,
Really?
which you don't get the nice hardwood case. You don't get the book. It's simply just the clear case wrapped movie. That's all it is. Simple.
Regular
as that.
Arrow
Yeah.
clear case.
Which that edition you own, I can tell that you care for that a lot more because you still have that paperback and the tape on
I didn't take it off yet. I
Yeah.
will, but I haven't.
it. Yeah, that's a beautiful edition.
Yeah, it's good shit, man. It's I highly recommend it. The movie's just great. There's also like a video essay on there that I watched as a bonus feature, and it's just like talking about pretty much how like John Landis, he's a Jewish filmmaker, and how if you watch this movie through that lens, it's basically like just all about Jewish identity in America and the Jewish experience. And the video essay is maybe like 15 minutes long, and they pull a lot of evidence and supporting facts from the movie to back that up. And it's just like it adds a whole nother like lens to the movie. It's great. It's a great movie.
Very good.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm very jealous.
What's your number one, dog?
My number one, I'm ending the year and going number one with a movie that both of us actually seeked out for in January this year.
No way.
Totally forgot this came out. It's still being seeked to this day. It's super out of print already, of course. You can get it for a premium if you really want it. But my pick is the Best Buy exclusive steelbook of Halloween 2018.
Dude, no way.
I bet you forgot this came out this year.
No, I didn't, because it's on my honorable mentions, which we're about to get to.
I'm surprised this didn't make your list.
It's-
Out of all the hunting everyone had to do to get this movie, to get this steelbook, this was nuts.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
It's a Best Buy exclusive steelbook of Halloween 2018.
It's great. The inside art is beautiful. Is Laurie Strode's holding the gun. The cover is, of course, Michael Myers. The back is the damn pumpkin. Pumpkin.
Oh, wait.
Waiting for it. I was trying to stretch it out. As you can see too, Bob, this mine edition's not open.
Yeah, you're good about that. I rip into my shit, man. I
You
don't-
definitely do.
Yeah.
Of course, I double buy this. I bought 2 copies, one with a slipcover to open to enjoy, and this one to sit in the collection. Man, I enjoyed the movie. I liked it, and I love the fact that, we had an edition for a movie like this to really go search for and really hunt for. So that's my number one, man. I love that, and people still want that to this day. So you
Yeah.
and I are very, very lucky to own it.
It's a solid pick. I don't know who the artist is that did the cover art, but it was one of the posters that was going around for the movie. It looks incredible. It's like a lower shot, like looking up at Michael Myers looming with a knife. It's just, the art's pretty incredible. And if you like steelbooks, that's definitely one that you're probably going to want to own. Good pick, man.
Yeah, man. And also too, to note, they re-released a steelbook for this just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Done by Todd McFarlane. I almost have said McFarlane. That's damn Family
one of
Guy. No, Todd McFarlane, of course the creator and artist of Spawn. He did a steelbook for Best Buy. I'm pretty sure those still linger around the stores, but this one right here is I can say I feel like after another year, this might be a grail in our collections.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be very popular. So, yeah, that's my number one. I'm gonna end my list the way I started it in the year. So
Nice.
oh
Halloween 2018.
Oh
A
my-
good movie.
yes, Justin, it's a good movie. Don't shit on it too bad.
Cool. You want to wrap up talking about some honorable mentions real quick?
Yeah, man. Some of the honorable mentions. The one I really want to start with, it could have been on my list. Scream Factory: The Craft.
Nice. Solid.
Once again, another '90s movie that came out, super grungy. Had Vicky Valancourt, of course, from Waterboy. I don't know her name. I just know her by Vicky Valancourt.
Firuza Balk.
That's why I don't remember her
That's
name.
her name. It's a strange name, right?
Yeah.
Firuza. Never heard that before.
I'm dumb, man. I can't even spell the word zipper, so. Yeah, that was a great addition. I was actually very excited for that to be released. My fiance doesn't like watching horror movies, and that happens to be one that she'll actually watch. So
Yeah. It's a
that
good
made
ass
it even more-
movie.
It is a good movie, yeah. What about you?
I had Halloween 2018 Best Buy Steelbook on there. I already mentioned that. I also had The Craft on mine.
It's
solid.
it was literally, I had to swap out Nightmare Beach in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should have been on my list probably. It's a good one.
I'll drop one that you haven't mentioned real quick, which is the Arrow Video release of Audition.
We watched that together.
Yeah, that movie is incredible. It's a Japanese horror movie. It's like 3 parts love story, 1 part just gruesome horror movie. It's a great watch. Arrow Video with their transfers, they fucking kill it. It looks as clean as it's ever gonna look. Yeah, Audition, watch it.
There's been a lot of Japanese Arrow movies. Like was The Pulse, was that also released this year?
Pulse was not released this year, but it's
Okay.
definitely another one that Arrow put out that is worth watching. It's a Japanese horror movie.
I'm really getting into these Japanese horror films now. Yes, they're subtitled. If that bothers you,
I can barely read, so
I know. I see the, and I'm sitting there for like 10 seconds trying to read that.
pause it.
Shit. But no, they do their movies well. Like I said, even if it's a movie that has a whole lot of nothing going on, there's still a lot of effect that tells the story very well. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting into those. And when they do get to their scenes when they're just scary and disturbing, it sticks in your head for a little bit. They're really creepy.
Yeah, Pulse is, like we said, not put out this year, but it's one that, like, if you want to see a ghost story in which they portray ghosts in a way that I don't know that I've ever seen in another movie, that's a way to go. It's very slow and atmospheric, but the ghosts are just like so painterly and just really cool. They look awesome. Recommend that too.
And Audition will definitely make you guys stray away from bringing home a Japanese girl home. That girl is nuts. Oh, man.
What else you got?
Another honorable mention for me, Us.
Oh, yeah.
That was released this year.
Yeah.
Jordan
Jordan Peele?
Peele, yeah. Another good movie. It was definitely a movie I needed to rewatch again at home. I mean, it was beautiful, all the colors, even all the day scenes that he did in this movie. It shows you that even terrifying things can happen during the day, not just at night. It was great to watch. It was a great release. Best Buy, once again, they also came out with a really cool steelbook, a 4K steelbook, when it's just all black and has a pair of gold scissors on the cover. It's really nice. I thought that was a really good release. I was not a big fan of the movie, not like Get Out, but no, I thought that was definitely a nice release of the year.
Yeah, it definitely was. I got that steelbook and it's super clean.
Oh,
Good,
yes.
Solid movie too, man. I think the last one I want to mention here is a Scream Factory release. And they didn't put this out with a slipcase or anything too fancy like that, but it's just a great movie that I'd never seen before. It's called The Brain.
Oh yeah, that did come out like mid-year.
Yeah, and it's a super goofy monster movie. And it's also a sneaky Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas. So if you're looking for like a new horror movie, that's related to Christmas you've never seen before, I recommend checking out The Brain. It's just absurd. It's hilarious. Throw it on, watch it with some friends. I think MST3K did an episode on The Brain, which I don't know if that's like readily available, but I believe they did one. It might have just been a live show though. I don't know if you can find the recording or not. But that's kind of the level of movie I'm talking about. Definitely recommend it, The Brain.
Yeah, I definitely need to check that one out too.
Yeah.
But, there was a ton of releases from every distributor this year. Scream Factory put out a lot of good ones. Like, just last week, we got the whole Fly collection.
Yeah.
Which, it could have made the list, but unfortunately, it came out a bit late in the
Too
year.
late, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have time to watch, was
Five
it 4 or 5
movies,
movies?
yeah.
Including no Jeff Goldblum versions.
Yeah.
And we had, like, likes of the Omen collection, Silent Hill.
Yeah.
What did Arrow put out? What other movies did they put out of the year that could have been a mention?
They put out Trapped Alive, which is another one. It was like a pretty obscure movie I'd never heard of before. It was pretty solid. Also, another sneaky Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas time. Funny, kind of pretty disturbing too, actually.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Just be on the lookout, you guys. These companies, Vinegar Syndrome, Scream Factory, Arrow, Synapse, they all come out with monthly releases, and there's usually always one that will really definitely catch your attention if you're interested in this kind of thing.
Yeah. We did it, man. Our first show.
I
Episode
know.
number fucking 1.
The damn look at this. I didn't know what to say.
We made it. Looks like we made it.
Let's get physical.
We got physical with each other, so
Oh yeah.
that was cool.
Thank God there's no cameras for this episode.
It's just sweat. It's just sweaty. There's lots of sweat. So yeah, this is something I think we're planning on releasing monthly at the moment. We'll see how that feels. Maybe we do it more frequently, maybe less frequently. Monthly release schedule, I think, is what we're looking at. Let us know if you love it. Let us know if you hate it. We're talking about the physical media all day, every day. I think that's going to do it for us, man.
Yeah, and if you guys are, potential collectors or, want some advice before making this plunge into this thing, because I will say this is a safe addiction. Once you start, you probably can't stop. If you want any recommendations or have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to us, because this is a thing we do daily. We usually shoot a text to each other daily as well, asking what did we buy, because usually there's always something that we're purchasing. So
Something's on the way.
Always in the mail.
Yeah, definitely want to start a dialogue about it. If this is something you're interested in, holler at us. We want to talk to you guys. And as far as like what the show's going to be about each month, we're not going to necessarily have a list every month, but we'll probably talk about what we picked up throughout the month, what we recommend, what we don't recommend. Maybe every once in a while we'll have like some interviews on the show. Just various topics of discussion surrounding physical media. But yeah, thanks for checking it out, everybody. And until next time, stay physical.
Stay physical, baby.